I'm glad they locked this in. I was afraid that the Gragas ban would signal maybe they first pick Renekton, but they are going to keep it stock and standard.
And this is where I wonder what Kanavi's going to be looking to pull out. I would expect the Kaisa to try and be a little bit of a priority here for either squad, as it was banned away that first time around. And maybe Kramer is able to get his hands on that one, but the Tristana still available, still a versatile pick, still a very strong pick right now, Lyric. And it's always between the two, it feels like right now, because these are the mainstays. These are the showmakers here in the ADC pool, and it will be that Kaisa coming in for JDG.
And now the thing I'm looking towards is, like you said, you were already talking before about what they can play in the jungle role. I want to see later on if Kanavi will go towards the Dr. Mundo. It's something we've seen into the Udyr many times. I think it's very composition dependent, like on what your enemy picks, but I like what JDG are doing. Oh. You have no reason to pick jungle now, and then just give Yagao a signature champion. And this is a champion that, if you are not like an S-tier elite level mid laner in the LPL, I think Yagao will just outshine you every time when he has Zoe.
That worries me so much for LGD. You're giving this power pick to Yagao, who had an incredible performance on the first game, on a later game scaling mid laner, and still able to pull out those early game advantages. Looks like LGD just want to go with the same style in the mid lane. They're going to lock in the Viktor again.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of Mazel.
Not a big fan, Lyric? You're not? No?
Oh,
that's not the big
This would at least be nice. Like, if they pick up the Tristana again, it's something that can be aggressive in the laning phase. You can play around it early on, and it still scales up to be a massive threat. The problem is that now Yagao is still going to get prio through mid lane. He's going to be a menace in these early river skirmishes, and he's just going to hover towards the bot side and not allow Kramer and Peace to find the advantages they need with Quay.
I still really like this, though, right? You're still giving Kramer a tool in his shed to be able to use, something that he has looked pretty comfortable on in the past, and that is a bit more unfortunate, I feel like, as Alistar is locked in for JDG. That's never a fun time, as Alistar has been such a big piece to the LPL here, and it's going to continue.
And I like the bans coming out from JDG. Again, if you've been a long-time LPL watcher, you have seen Garvey before. Garvey is a carry player. Garvey can get his hands onto the Irelia and pop off. I think it was his best champion before. Maybe we can even expect to see a Renekton ban coming out. I don't think Zoom needs to care too much about Renekton, but instead I'm surprised actually going to ban out the Jace. They can actually pick up the Renekton for themselves on 4 and look to last pick jungle. It would be a bit strange because LGD are already showing their jungler, so again, you could already counterpick jungle and then save counterpick for top lane, but if they do want to pull out a more niche pick, they probably want to see more of what LGD's comp will be.
All right, so I was wondering if you were going to get anything spicy. I do like the Nocturne ban again from LGD, right? Just not letting Zoom get that piece. It will be Gnar that gets locked in, though, for Zoom, so trying to get that pick in for themselves, trying to make sure they have a little bit of something up there, but I would be really interested to see, because now you get to counterpick that one if you would like for the side of LGD.
Yeah, and they are going to just go straight towards the Rell, so we're having 2 front-to-back team fight comps coming out. I do feel like JDG will and should have more lane prios to play with. In terms of what counters Gnar, what could get lane prio, the only thing that comes to mind that's left open is still that GP, which they already hovered.
Yeah.
Almost everything else, I think, is just going to be like a generic tank that accepts the pressure that's given. If they do just end up going back to the Renekton, we've already seen Gnar wins out this 1v1. You can try to combo with your jungle to find some kill pressure when he is in mini form, and then if you can bring over your mid laner, you could even look for dives, but with the fact that Uniboy shouldn't have prio, I think that will be very hard.
I'm very interested that the Renekton's coming through again for Garvey and see what he can do in the top lane, because I do feel like we had a chance up there for Garvey to have something going for him, but it came down to the team being more involved, not necessarily the individual play. But we get the Taliyah, Lyric. It's going to be coming in for Kanavi. Maybe that's why they were saving the last pick, because they just want to throw some spice into the mix.
This one is going to be really interesting because honestly, in terms of like the pure jungle 1v1, Taliyah gets destroyed by Udyr. if those two ever see each other, Quay will just run at her. Again, you're not going to hit your seismic shove. He has just too much mobility within his kit. And you don't even have a lot of consistent lockdown in top or mid. So what this signals for me is that JDG this time are going to be playing with their bot lane. You're going to have the Alistar combo come out, going to set up the seismic shove into all the damage, and you're going to look to punish LGD where they have traditionally been strongest.
Oh man, such an interesting pick to finalize JDG's composition, and I like it, right? I mean, I think it's interesting. I think there's a lot of that execution that has to come into play for Kanavi, as you're kind of highlighting too, where you don't necessarily have all that setup, you don't necessarily have all the tools you'd want to get that seismic shove off, but I still feel like Taliyah can up that tempo a little bit, can try and get something going for the lanes, and as you said, focusing down towards that bot lane. And no, that changes my eyes over here. LGD, Quay on the Udyr is going to have a lot of tempo for himself. They're going to have that Tristana and bot lane as well. Maybe we even see even more focus down there from both squads.
I'll be honest, at this point, I definitely think Quay should maybe hover, look to counter gank bot, but I think now you just put all your eggs in the topside basket because, again, if Zoom's in mini form, you have no way of locking anyone down for the Taliyah combo. Quay and Garvey can just turn onto Kanavi and burst him out instantly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how this early game kind of plays out for both squads, but we are going to be hitting the Rift for the second time. JDG wants to go home early. They want to slam home a 2-0 victory here, but can LGD stop them in their tracks, push us to a game 3? We'll find out soon. I gotta get me some of those signs, Lyric. I need to order me some of those. Can I just hold them up on the camera as we're going? They're so cool.
You know, the most heartwarming thing is when you see signs in like Gios for new players like Quay. Again, this guy's a young player, relatively new to the league. It's like, it's just nice to see him having supporters out, you know, already. And again, he has been a promising prospect. Is he a top jungler in the LPL? No, not by any means, but you know, given time, could he be there? Potentially. So again, that's always cool to see. Now it's going to be interesting to see what LGD can do with this composition. I do feel like it is a bit better for them with the fact that Kanavi picked the Taliyah. I think I already kind of hinted at it. I don't really think this is the best pick for JDG in their composition or against what LGD have picked. But hey, the fact that they should be able to guarantee lane prio in at least 2 out of their 3 lanes means that Quay won't be able to just invade Kanavi outright. So he will have the freedom to at least decide what he wants to do on the map.
And we will see both junglers, you know, starting on that bot side of the map, maybe trending up towards that mid or top potentially early on and try to get that going. And as you said, you know, for Quay, that's exactly what we were looking for. Try to get Garvey ahead early and then maybe transition that towards the bot side, trying to get Peace and Kramer ahead. And bringing Garvey down there could sway that fight, but you've got to be really careful on the resources you're going to be using and how you kind of want to pace out that early game as the Udyr. But as we were saying, like if you can get in the face of this Taliyah for Kanavi, you can find some serious damage. As we're going to see some serious damage on the bot side. Peace a little bit low. Kramer's just going to jump in, try to get the reset of the Tassel charge, and take a lot of damage back. There's the crash down from Peace, going to get the double knock up there. It's a very back and forth fight, but Peace needs to be very careful here. The heal's already burned. The Ignite as well. Has the flash too, so that's a lot of summoner spells on the side of LGD on the bot side, while 2 were burned for JDG. And that's a bit of an unfortunate beginning to the bottom lane.
It's not stopping Mazel. Ooh, actually did.
Good flash from Zoom, though. Yeah.
It apparently actually is stopping, but still, yeah, nice job by LGD to punish on the opposite side of the map. Going back to that bot lane play, I'm actually a bit surprised because LGD were getting the better end of that, but they just overcommitted a little too much. I think after they'd gotten Loken's heal, they just back off. They won the trade, they got what they came for. And JDG apparently getting what they came for too on the top side of the map.
And just being able to steal out that Scuttle Crab, going to force Quay to go in his side of the jungle, and that does mean that we're going to get the double Scuttle here from JDG. So we said early Otis on Quay, and it's actually Kanavi getting out on the map, getting some of these neutral points for his squad.
You know, I'm really surprised that Quay stayed top to help Garvey push in his wave. And, you know, that would signal that Garvey would want to go for a recall, but Garvey just stayed in lane and is still trading, because had Quay not done that, he could have just gone to the topside Scuttle Crab, guaranteed that. And even in an alternate scenario where his bot lane had backed off when they should have, that could have been a double Scuttle Crab for LGD. That, again, just comes through a bunch of different micro misplays where they end up getting no Scuttle Crab.
That's a good advantage from JDG. Still need to see them kind of keep going, though, as this, because we did say that the Udyr can be very, very strong in these situations. And we're seeing both junglers head down towards that bot side, potentially. Maybe some of that focus that we were looking for. Yes, they're just farming, they're clearing up, but I still want to see some action down there. We saw 2v2s. I want to see 3v3s.
We definitely will at some point. Obviously, no flash coming out for Peace. And we already highlighted, right, the headbutt pulverized there for LvMao, so he's going to be the big one setting up plays for Kanavi. So I'd love to see JDG be the ones who initiate on the bottom side of the map. I don't actually think Quay has a lot of tools to find anything if JDG play appropriately, and both of them still have their flashes up.
As I do believe we're going to be getting a replay of that almost successful dive in the top side. Zoom just gets the flash out right in time to get away from the deadly duo.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, we see the E-Flash come out from Garvey. Garvey uses a stun, but Zoom flashes at instantly the right time to where he doesn't get stunned. Garvey has to turn around. And, you know, Zoom, ever since then, straight chilling with the CS advantage like we'd expect.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, right? You just watch, like, it started to come out, right? You saw Garvey's auto attack start come out for the stun, but it doesn't go through because of that flash. And hey, those little micro outplays mean a lot. Now Quay visiting this mid lane, maybe going in here onto Yagao. You got to be careful, right? At least you got to prepare this right, because Yagao. Okay, maybe you don't got to prepare it right, Lyra, because Yagao just face checks the bush. Has to burn his flash, go over the wall. Won't be a kill over to LGD, but maybe a return gank coming out sometime soon.
I mean, the nice thing, right, is he took Unsealed Spellbook. He knew that, you know, taking any other rune, looking for an Electrocute, an Area Comet, it wouldn't do anything in this lane. You're not really going to be able to consistently poke down Viktor. Just going to throw out his E's. Went for the team fight utility with the Spellbook. Going to be able to change to something quite soon, and it's not going to be too big of a loss. At the same time, though, Kanavi's still just getting ahead in this jungle matchup. Getting, once again, another Scuttle Crab. Yeah. What can Quay do?
I would hope something. I don't want to see him lose another scuttle. It makes me feel bad. Zoom might get tower dove here. Oh, it looks like Quay's going for the long con here. Zoom uses the Gnar ulti to get away. He's about to go into mini Gnar, and that's going to be the health bar getting destroyed right now. There comes the Weaver's Wall, but it's too little too late. Yagao had Flyer TP'd in, but he almost gets taken down himself. Going to get the flash. That seismic shove on a Garvey was huge, and Quay's getting low now too. Kanavi could be looking for some more kills under tower here. Doesn't get the last stone throw there to get the kill, and has to flash away from Garvey. So a lot of summoner spells burned early on for both these squads, but there is chaos early too.
You know, Mazel. Oh, wait.
Oh, God.
2v2.
Peace, get out of there. Oh, all he wanted was to wave that white flag, but the white flag don't matter. JDG are going to get the kill, and it goes over to Loken on the bot side. Kramer able to get out with that rocket jump, but still not what you want to see from LGD early on.
And we don't even know how it all started. We don't know how LGD ended up in that situation, but, you know, last year, Munchables coined me the disappointed dad of the LPL. And I feel like I got to bring that back a little bit, because that whole topside play on both sides, it was just not the play. But we will go over this first. Let's see how this all started.
He opted into it.
Yeah,
this is the second time we've seen that.
Trying to lock them down with the E, isn't able to do it. And, I mean, you know, LvMao just throws out the Q, cancels the crash down, and I mean, they just turn on him and kill him. They have an item advantage as well, as we can see with the Noon Quiver. Though they did just pick that one up, actually, so they did not have that before. But yeah, LGD just not understanding their matchup and not understanding the limitations of the champions. Though I guess I shouldn't necessarily say LGD as a whole, because that one was strictly on Peace.
Yeah, just a little bit of an oopsie there. Maybe he'll learn from his early mistakes, not let it transition into later parts of the game. Because that is twice that they've tried to go for that engage, that extra trading down there on the bot side, and Peace just having to walk away with that slowness is just getting traded back onto with those plasma stacks from Loken. So see if they can clean those engagements up a little bit, especially because I feel like Peace is going to be very, very crucial to how LGD are going to be taking these team fights later on. We do see a nice thing from LGD right now, right? We see Quay able to get this Rift Herald started up. It will be traded by Kanavi on that dragon side. He will be able to get this first dragon of the game. It's going to be another mountain dragon to start us off here, and JDG do secure that one.
The thing I like about this play from JDG is the fact that since LGD are losing both mid and bot, it should be pretty telegraphed where LGD are going to use this Herald. They can really only use it top, even despite the fact that Garvey's down. At least he is able to generate some sort of lane pressure, or even keep the wave neutral for them to actually drop that Herald.
I'm wondering, it looks like they might focus that top side, but the bot side's getting focused in between their towers here. Look at Peace is the main target. JDG is just going for the dub here on the bot side. LvMao gets the kill. Kramer was trying to get some damage on Loken, but doesn't have it. Top side, that's the Rift Herald spawn. That's Zoom and Kanavi getting engaged on here, and Garvey's going ham, but Uniboy is picking up a double kill, Lyric.
And I'm at least happy LGD are punishing on the opposite side of the map. They dropped the Rift Herald just like we expect them to. Kanavi tries to answer, but again, this 2v2 Taliyah Gnar, it doesn't synergize well. It doesn't actually offer anything to the play style that the other one brings. And it also goes to show that Quay and Garvey can just all in and be able to take either one down if Zoom is in mini Gnar form. So they do that, they take advantage. Going back to the bot side play, we just keep seeing LvMao doing a great job. He once again cancels the crash down coming out from Peace, and then they just lock him down easily. We are going to get a full replay of this play. Looks like Zoom just timed out of his Mega. Garvey gets in, Laser comes out as well, and yeah, they're just able to finish these ones off. They're too squishy. They're not able to survive the burst, and I think Kanavi should have just let Zoom go in that situation.
Yeah.
And, I mean, overall, I feel like Zoom should have been able to read that one better, right? Because they can only use Herald in one spot. There's actually no way in those situations LGD can drop Herald mid or bot.
A little bit of situational awareness needs to come out in this situation. As Garvey, speaking of situations, is going to get traded on very heavily. That Mega Gnar is starting to build up, and Garvey's getting a little low. I'm going to say, you got to watch out for that double jump there, as Zoom could be looking. But Uniboy has roamed up to potentially stop any further engagement from Zoom. And I like these team plays coming out from LGD. They're getting the lane swap going. Although they're going to lose a lot of pressure on this bot side, there's nobody there to respond. They're going to put all their eggs into that top lane basket.
Hey, I like this a lot because when we've continuously built up this narrative, right, that, hey, if LGD get late game, you know, they can like 50-50 team fight it, Kramer can pop off, Uniboy can pop off. If you want to guarantee you get to at least the mid game, just keep trade siding. Just keep splitting the map and, you know, like going in opposite directions, avoid the enemy at all costs, and sure, maybe they'll get a bit more tempo than you or a bit more golden. That could be massive against a top team. I think for LGD, they're happy in this situation.
Loken doesn't stand a chance. I was hoping he was going to be able to put him a fighting chance for that first tower, but no, he's just a Kaisa. There's 3 people pushing up that top side. So it's unfortunate, but it will be first tower secured by LGD. So good things for LGD early on here, but they're still going to give up that tower on the bot side to Loken.
Yeah, I think JDG will still be up in gold. They obviously have CS advantages in numerous lanes. And LGD, though, are posturing for a fight, but I don't think they're going to be able to find it. I really like the way that JDG are playing off vision, because look at the minimap and look at the bottom side of the jungle. It is completely dark for LGD and lit up for the side of JDG.
Yeah. There's no way you're walking in that jungle by feeling safe, right? And you're going to need to expend a lot of tools. It's insane. Honestly, it's insane. I just want to see the word score come up after this one, as B's going to get the first piece to the puzzle. As we'll see what can happen down towards that. But I want to see the control come out a little bit more from LGD, right? I don't want to see them wandering into these scary situations, even though they have found some advantages early, and especially, you know, Uniboy looking a lot better than he did in game number 1, having some resources given his way with that double kill in the top lane. I got to see some more control around that come through.
I'm going to be honest, Mazel. I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to make a bold prediction.
All right, what you got?
LGD are going to win this game.
All right, all right.
You know, when you factor in like the teams and the players, I don't know if that's the right prediction, but just in terms of where we're at in the game with these compositions, I feel like LGD have more. They have a better front line. They have like more stable, more consistent backline damage come out. They have consistent engage. To where you look at the side of JDG, it's like, okay, they have good like pick potential coming out if they can get vision down first, throw down a sleepy trouble bubble, maybe create numbers advantage coming out with the Taliyah wall, but I think in straight-up team fights, if things are played out at least evenly, LGD comes out ahead every time, and I think Kanavi shouldn't be able to do anything against LGD's comp.
See if shouldn't is going to come to fruition. See if LGD can stop this Taliyah from doing anything in those fights. But the thing that worries me right now is Loken has gotten a big advantage in the ADC position. Again, the TP coming in. Peace already used the crash down out of there. There's a dragon. This is the second dragon on the board. This is an ocean dragon. So it could be setting up JDG for those 2 objective wins here. LGD on the backside of this one. Dragon's already down. That's all of Peace's health bar from Yagao. And the Ignite is so close, but it's not going to be enough. Almost gets the kill just off of that one, and LGD are running for the hills.
Yagao single-handedly kept LGD off Dragon. You know, when I made my prediction, I should have factored in that Yagao is playing Zoe, because
you messed up.
He's now hit 3 for 3 sleepy trouble bubbles from what we've seen in the last minute.
It is really bad. LvMao's on the back end of this. Uniboy and Quay are like, I don't know if we want to go for this one. They might just lose this tower. Yeah, Loken takes the tower shot, but it doesn't matter. That second tower will go over to JDG.
Nice play coming out from them. Again, they're playing off the pressure that Yagao's generating. Hit another sleepy trouble bubble. They're able to force LGD back. They just walk forward, hit turret. That's all they need. They just want the gold advantage. For LGD, though, this still isn't insurmountable. They're not even 1k behind. They're turning towards this Rift Herald. And we've highlighted many times. Everyone knows. They have Tristana. They have Viktor. They are fine in this situation. Garvey just needs to build to be a frontliner. They have 2 other tanks on their side. And then for JDG, it's going to be about coming back on the map, generating side lane pressure with Zoom, maybe Kanavi playing with Zoom in a side lane, trying to find some picks on Garvey, and then turning that into a numbers advantage fight and playing around more sleepy trouble bubbles coming from Yagao.
Yeah. And I really go back to a point that you were saying earlier, right? The objective control, I feel like for JDG is good with getting the 2 dragons. But you've already gotten 2 Rift Heralds here for Quay and LGD, and they've been able to get a lot with it, right? Getting the top tower, being able to try and have this tool to set you up maybe in about 3 minutes or so, or wherever you want to try and get a little bit more gold. As yes, you don't have tower plates anymore, but it's the pressure game that means so much in this mid game.
And that's the thing, right? Is you got to think of like Rift Heralds as Rift Heralds equaling out to gold, and when you're the scaling composition, you're fine giving up early dragons and trading that for gold to get your item points so you can start fighting dragons and start winning out.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't think LGD are hurting too much from giving over those early drakes. Like you said, it is, you know, a bit unfortunate that we're not still at a time when turret platings are up, but I think with the pressure they can generate, at least being able to get a stable vision line down, LGD will be fine. But hey, JDG don't want to give them any breathing room.
He flashes in here. LvMao with the engages right now, but Peace gets the re-engage here. That's a lot of damage coming from Uniboy. Got to be real careful. LvMao's going to go down. Garvey's going to get the kill, and now they have found the backline too. Loken forced to flash over, but Zoom has joined the fight, and Zoom gets a kill. He's going into Gnar now. Can he follow it up? You got the passive stacks there from Loken if he can get the procs. But Yagao just going to dissuade any further up. JDG pull away 1 kill, but they lose 2 there, Lyric.
And I mean, we just see Kanavi walks forward. Guess what? Peace jumps in. LG have a bunch of bursts. They take him out immediately. Not able to set anything up. He is building the Everfrost, so he's going to try and set up his own combo for himself. But he's still... like, he's not falling behind in the sense that his team is ahead, right? So he's gotten all the neutral gold, but he's not accelerating on a champion like Taliyah, who should be getting ahead. And we see here, LvMao starts it off once again, but really nice engage coming out from Peace, locking numerous members down. And keep your eyes on Quay, because he just run past all the members of JDG, picks up that kill, but Zoom is there with the Stride Breaker, at least gets 1 in return. And they're going to keep going for the chase, but this is going to be about where it ends, because Zoom does hit a really nice Gnar ultimate.
I just have to say, giving Uniboy those 2 early kills has meant so much for LGD. He's able to put down so much damage with the gravitational field, the Chaos Storm on top of it, and the lasers. Just the follow-up damage there in those tight corridors is really, really nice for LGD.
It has been massive, and that's what it's kind of looked like this game, right? Is we're having the battle of like the mid laners, and you know, not to discount LvMao and Loken on the side of JDG, because obviously they've been instrumental too, but I feel like since we've gotten past laning phase, it's been a lot about Uniboy being the one to dish out so much damage for the side of LGD, and for JDG, it's been about the pressure that Yagao's been putting out when they are posturing to force LGD to not even be able to think about taking a fight.
It's a very interesting dynamic being put forth here by both squads, because you're seeing advantages in both, right? You still have JDG in the lead in gold, but not far, you know, nothing like last game. But you're still having a big advantage in bot side for Loken. And Yagao is obviously just always a problem to deal with. Always looking for those long-range paddle stars. Always looking to take about half your health off your health bar. But you're getting carry performances from JDG right now from both people.
And I don't like the way that LGD are playing this. Like, they're walking through their own jungle trying to get vision over the wall, but they need to walk through a lane. They need to get Prio, push it in, and then walk into river like they're doing now. They've already taken too much damage.
Yeah, oh god. Uniboy almost goes down. This is sole point, right, for JDG. You don't want to give this up because that just gives them that much more things to work with on the map. And you see LGD didn't necessarily want to go in for the fight, but now they do. That's the 4-man Magnet Storm on the back from Peace, and the damage is there. Look at Kramer popping off right now. The Gnar ulti is going to go into the wall. You still have 5 members alive from LGD, and they're going to take the full fight. They're going to take the full ace, and LGD show up when it matters.
It doesn't matter how well Zoom and Yagao are playing, Mazel. Draft difference is too big in this game. Really nice engage coming out from LGD. Peace once again locking down numerous members. Garvey getting in there right alongside him. And guess what time it is, Mazel? It is 20 minutes. That means Baron is up. This could actually be the game-winning objective for LGD. And it's funny, I doubted myself. I said, hey, I should have accounted for Yagao Zoe, but I gotta trust my gut, Mazel. I should have trusted my gut, and I regret not doing that.
It's like one of those multiple choice questions where you know the answer is right, and you're like, second guess yourself. You go with your second guess, and it was the first guess all along. Lyric, you just gotta stay with it. Stay confident here, because you've got a 4-0-5 Garvey on a Renekton, this carry potential in the top lane, but it's everybody else as a whole that is really pulling up the scruff here for LGD.
LvMao finds a knockup, but amazing flash onto the backline coming out from Peace, locking our numerous members. I like that Kramer followed up as well. Again, really nice ultimate coming out from Zoom, but it's not enough. They just don't have the damage at this point in time. Zoe doesn't thrive in these close-knit battles that they're going for. Renekton gets on top. You have all the AoE damage coming out from the Viktor. It's like, these are the kinds of skirmishes that LGD's comps want. They want you to be bunched up. They want it to be close together. They want it to be brawly.
And exactly what we looked for when we were talking about getting something for Kramer, not letting him on the Senna again. He gets the Tristana, and he is doing wonders right now. 3-0-2. The score lines across the board for LGD looking really good, but I feel like Kramer is finally feeling comfortable, finally feeling confident in this matchup.
Yeah, again, I like that Kramer's on something he can have impact on. He might not be the most aggressive or like action-packed player, but he waits for his moments. But talking about that, I like that you highlighted Garvey only a minute ago, because I love how Garvey's been patient about waiting for his chances to go in to have the highest impact with this dominance. Again, Garvey was the player we all expected would be the starting top laner for LGD this split. We already highlighted he did have to make the role swap because Kramer wasn't in China yet, wasn't on the roster. So it's nice to see Garvey back in the top lane and actually having a great performance.
It is indeed. LGD doing really nicely right now with these Baron buffs. Actually going to go in here onto Yagao. Don't find the follow-up damage. There's the Weaver's Wall on the backside of it. The health bars for JDG are just gone. You got Garvey coming over the wall as well. And it's Kanavi on the backside setting up the no exit for LGD, but he can't get in the fight. He can't do anything. Kramer gets taken down by the Void Seeker there on the end of it. Kanavi might get caught here. Zoom just goes into the wall. He gets the Gnar ulti. He's trying to take on the world right now, and I feel like JDG are just a bit split in their decisions, but they do stop the siege potential from LGD by taking out Kramer.
Yeah, LGD just understand at this point in time, if they find an engage, they win. The only way that JDG wins fights at this point in time is if there's an extended standoff like there was, a few times previously where Yagao's consistently hitting poke, Loken can throw out some W's, maybe if they walk up close enough, Kanavi can throw out some Q's as well, but if it's just, okay, we're both at 100% HP, if we find the opportunity to pull the trigger, LGD will win the all-in every single time. And I like that you highlighted that. I wouldn't even say that JDG weren't on the same page, but it's like, okay, you're bringing Taliyah in from a flank. What does that do? Because Taliyah can't walk forward. They could just instantly turn and kill her. We're going to see the engage once again. Quay just running forward as all Udyrs do. We see Chance locking down numerous members with his ultimate. They do get enough poke down to take down LvMao. And then, really nice pick off by Kramer as well. Oh, does he go down? No, survives with just an inch of health, but does end up going down in the very end. And I mean, at this point in time, yeah, at this point in time, I actually don't think it's too big a deal that Kramer goes down, right? We're now 12-4. Yeah, sure, JDG are on sole point. Oh, this nope.
Some fancy feet coming out here from Loken, and Garvey might have overexpected himself here. You still got to deal with the percentage health damage that comes out there, and they punish Garvey. That's going to give him his first death and a huge bounty over to Loken. Now we have the fight happening in mid lane. Uniboy caught. There's the Everfrost being used. Yagao's down for JDG. A big point for them of success. But here comes the reinforcements. You see him on the backside, but can they get to the fight? Uniboy goes down to Kanavi. Quay's in the fight now. 2 pieces running away. It is turning into chaos, and JDG are taking advantage of it. On the other side, though, it was a kill going over to LGD. Kramer with the burn onto Kanavi, but that means the Dragon's going to be started up. They don't have the smite here, and Quay on his way, on his smite coming up here too. Could they get into the pit? Could they take the fight? No, it will not be secured. That is the soul being secured by JDG.
There's a few different dynamics. Oh, the LGD are looking for the play. Garvey's coming in.
He's waiting over the wall. He's getting the blast code. He finds Loken, but can Loken get away? He's been in this fight before. LvMao's caught too. We're getting a split catastrophe here for JDG as they're going to lose their bot laners back to back.
Oh, is Loken? Nope. Garvey doesn't go down. You know, there are a lot of shenanigans happening. I actually wonder if LGD are going to go for the end, but Yagao is not going to let that happen. Ultimately, Garvey looking to top wave cost them the soul. Really nice wall coming out from Kanavi, but the point I want to make is I actually don't think it's too big of a deal for LGD. I think their scaling advantage actually does outweigh the soul for the side of JDG. The thing that this really does for JDG in my eyes is it makes what we're seeing now, these extended standoffs, actually much more potent for JDG. So if Yagao does hit those skill shots, they are going to be much more meaningful to where maybe now they actually can chunk LGD out enough to where they will be the ones forcing fights, forcing objectives, because they have enough of a resource advantage.
And I think for me, as we're going to be looking at this fight, is like that extra potential in the poke, the kill, the volatility that you can add to the Zoe, to the Kaisa is so big. So we'll see how that works out later on. But this is such a chaotic fight from both sides.
Yeah, and we see that LGD were the aggressors in this one. They do get caught out by numerous members. It even gave enough time for Kanavi to rotate over. Oh, it was the satchel charge. Really nice job done from Kramer. Ultimately, though, Baron is up. LGD should be able to control this one. They already have deep wards in the topside jungle. They're going to push out mid, and I expect them to just start this one right now.
And they will have priority in the mid lane as well, achieved by Kramer. They have a lot of damage here, too, as the Baron's getting about a quarter of the way down. I see the TP now coming in as well. It's going to be Zoom joining the flank here. Do they find the fight on the other side of it, though? You have Taliyah coming up as well. Quay just looks for the fight on the Zoom. Looks like LGD were split up just a bit here. See if they can re-hone in as Uniboy almost gets chunked. Almost taken down completely. LvMao goes on, and there's a kill instinct. That's exactly what I was talking about, Lyric. As Kramer's able to get the damage on the Loken, though, and this is where Loken has to be very careful. He's just going to go down. The burn onto Kramer, can it be enough? He's trying to lifesteal. One more auto attack will do it as Yagao gets his kill, and LGD trying to clean up here, but they've got to deal with a full health Zoom, and Yagao flashing away from Quay. He gets it, and that's going to be the kill going over to Zoom. Can they get Garvey? Garvey is a big old crocodilian, but he's going to go over the wall. Could get the slice and dice away, but Yagao setting up the paddle star. The prediction is going to come through the Weavers while they're committing everything. And JDG come away with an ace.
And once again, JDG prey on LGD's mistakes. Great engage coming out from LvMao and Loken. They're going to very easily be able to turn to this Baron. Uniboy's going to be up. He doesn't have TP. He's not going to be able to impact this play in time. LvMao's going to be here as well. This is going to be great for them, right? They're going to come off, have the Baron recalls, get on the map, have push in all lanes. They should be able to get deep vision into LGD's jungle and start building up more of an advantage to where when that Elder Drake comes up in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it should almost be guaranteed theirs.
Lyric. This is exactly what I was hoping to set up for JDG. They have the pick potential. They've got Killer Instinct with the Infernal Soul on it, and you just see the damage coming out, the burst potential for JDG, and that's what they need to take advantage of in these fights.
That's what I liked about them, because honestly, LGD played this almost as wrong as you could have. I think they had to be on Baron. You need to be forcing JDG into that clump position that we talked about earlier, to where a lot of your AoE, zone control, CC can take root. Instead, we saw Quay running up and them trying to lock down Zoom instead of having Zoom run into them. That's what they needed, but they spread so far apart, it's set up for that pick potential you were talking about. Every man is for himself now on the side of LGD. A Sleepy Trouble Bubble hits. The W comes out from Loken. We see Paddlestar sitting all over the place. Kanavi's now able to, hit some of his abilities because everyone on LGD is just so scattered.
And now they've got the Baron, they've got the priority in mid. They're looking at this mid tower as well, and this is where JDG can be so successful, right? They capitalize on the mistakes, and they know exactly how to handle the aftermath, right? They know exactly where to go with those mistakes.
Well, they really do, and it's something JDG have always been good at is if you are willing to give them an inch, they're going to take that as far as they can. Now it's going to be interesting to see. Elder Dragon is up in 1 minute, despite the fact that JDG have been winning these skirmishes consistently. We need to remember LGD do still have the damage if they can find an advantageous fight. I feel like we've set up those advantageous fights many times. Group together, they can't be trigger shy. It's going to be hard now because since JDG have the Baron, they actually aren't going to be able to push out to get into River, and I like that JDG are abusing that fact.
We're seeing a lot of mid lane focus here. Just try to make sure that JDG can't push up this advantage even more with their Baron buff, and I'm a bit worried right now for LGD, right? You're looking at some big brain plays coming out from JDG potentially with these flanks, with some of these positionings from these players, but LGD don't have vision over their bottom side of the jungle. They don't necessarily know. I mean, they have some hinklings that Yagao and Kanavi are down there, but you really got to be careful to get, that Battlestar, unfortunately. But they get the engage. This is the corridor maybe that they want to go for. There's the seismic shove. They've already found Quay on the backside of it, but look at that crash down. Look at the damage. It's going to be traded back. Kramer jumping away here, but he's still got a lot to deal with. He's still got to take down the health bars of JDG. His health bar's just gone, and JDG capitalized yet again, Lyric. It doesn't stop. JDG, you're back.
And really nice fights coming out from Loken and Yagao especially. Loken just continuously finds his way onto the backline, onto the big threats from the side of LGD, and it looks like JDG are just done. They're just going to close out this game.
They've still got timers going. They still got 15 seconds on Quay, and they still have a base that's being destroyed right now. I'm so surprised we get to this point. We're saying LGD, we're looking so good, but JDG capitalizing on some mistakes from LGD early on, capitalizing on some mistakes later on. They do not actually look to be getting the win here. They do get both Nexus towers, but they've got to run away because you've got Peace, you've got Quay, and you've got a TP coming in from Garvey to stop this from happening here. It will be Kanavi that gets caught. He will be taken down. Luckily, it looks like Yagao and Zoom will be able to get out. I think, Run, come on, you got this, little mini Gnar. He's going to be trying to get away from this one. Yagao making the big play going back. That's found Kramer doesn't have mana, though. You got to be really careful going against the Tristana.
Uniboy?
Zoom is going to be able to get Uniboy there as well. You get the double crash down knockup for LGD, but their health bar just isn't there. Peace is down. Loken's there. Loken goes down to Kramer, though, and here come the rocket jumps. This is so back and forth. I feel like we're playing a game of American football right now, Lyric.
That was so tragic, though, Mazel. JDG thought they could end it. We thought they could end it. Everyone thought that JDG were able to end that game. The fact that they are just slightly off with their timing means that this will be the Elder Dragon for LGD. This actually can be LGD's game now. And, you know, now it's going to come down to one big team fight, it feels like. We're getting 32 minutes into the game, which in Season 11, this is pretty much ultra late game. So it's going to be all decided by the next fight.
A 12-3-3 Tristana right now. Feels so good. Oh, yeah.
The flank ward. I like it. I like it, Mazel.
Just setting up. Trying to go for hey, if they I mean the Nexus is bare, right? you can get some spiciness potentially go. Yeah, no, not anymore. It's rip the dream, Lyric. Rip the dream.
I mean, to be fair, right? He did very clearly just walk over a control ward, so
what are you talking about, Lyric? I don't know what you're talking about. It's not obvious.
The observer showing us that this Nexus is almost dead. Not. Oh, he found another ward.
He did, and they don't get it this time
around. Maybe Yagao goes in, TP's there, runs in with his ghost, and looks for the end. Hey, remember,
you're hoping for some craziness here. I love it.
He can utilize his passive, right? He can utilize his,
yeah.
You know, throw out a Q, get the empowered auto, and look to end it earlier.
All right, so you see JDG setting up around this Baron, right? You still got a little while. It's about 20 seconds till it comes up, and this is where I want to see LGD maybe set up around this, because this is where things got a bit dicey last time around for LGD. They were not able to commit fully to that Baron, a little bit off-kiltered there, and maybe they're able to set themselves up on sure footing this time around, but Kanavi's looking towards bot lane and trying to get something going here.
Down, is he going to ult? Is he going to ult for the
He
Nexus?
is going to ult, oh my god. But look at Garvey. Garvey knows. Can he get the damage in? There's the TP. They are fully committing to this lyric. Can they get the damage off? They have everybody here, and oh no, LGD, you can't go down like this, but it doesn't matter. JDG make the heads up play and take the 2-0 victory. Saving the TPs, getting ready for that immediately. Everybody pulls the trigger. You have the entire team almost there at your Nexus, and not being able to respond from that or against that for LGD was a bit unfortunate. But I just have to say that is awesome gameplay coming out from JDG.
I really liked it, again, especially when they did have the Baron and they realized, like, hey, we don't actually want to start going back and getting vision for Elder and like setting up Elder and doing Elder. What we need to do is make sure that that situation doesn't happen. So we just need to keep pushing out mid-wave, and we need to play over the walls, use our terrain scaling that we do get from Zoe, play from Fog of War with the Taliyah, chunk them out, and then look for the fight. So JDG read their composition really well when it got to the mid-game, and even that end-game play, I think JDG realized, hey, we don't really want to look for the straight-up 5v5 against LGD still. Yeah. They just got Elder. We especially don't want it now. And we're just going to risk it all in this backdoor, and they did, and it worked out. So JDG showing some smarter gameplay here. Again, I do think it is sad for LGD because they didn't start the split with their whole roster, and they very clearly were at least getting better at certain things in the end. It felt like if LGD could get to that mid-late game, that, again, their team fighting was on point. Uniboy, some good damage. Kramer able to pop off. Garvey, this was only his first series as a top laner this split, so... You know, LGD had a lot of setbacks this split, and, you know, we're going to have to see how they retool for next split, because it does feel like they have a lot of workable pieces on this roster.
And speaking of workable pieces, my heart goes out to Kramer on his Tristana for this game too, right? He was so big. But when you only have one piece to the puzzle, I mean, you had Uniboy doing some decent stuff, Garvey with those flanks being really, really good, but it was really Kramer that had your carry potential, that was really carrying those team fights. And when you only have that one source, right, you have a lot of focus your way, and unfortunately he was not able to get those later game fights. And I love to see this come out from him in game number 2, because I felt like game number 1 was just not what we wanted to see from him. So at least going forward, you know, they have some things to build off of. They have some things to take away from this series, even if it did end up in not the fashion they wanted it to.
I feel like for LGD, there's just a lot of small things they need to work on. I mean, I remember at the start of this game when we even highlighted, like, hey, had these two situations that LGD played wrong and made wrong choices gone differently, Quay could have been the one double scuttling Kanavi.
Yeah.
But instead, he's the one that lost both scuttle crabs, right? So there's a lot of these, like, micro decisions that they're making in lane, or, like, how they're moving as a unit. When they did the Baron and they all separated and opened up the pick potential that you highlighted, it's like... But these are very actionable things. So that's one thing we're all doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, none of these things are impossible to fix. They can, like, see all these easily in a VOD review, come back, and again, be stronger next time. So definitely feels like that's where LGD go. But for JDG, they just continue to go up. And, man, people need to start taking away Yagao Zoe once again. I don't care that it's not meta anymore. Again, Yagao is just a different level when he gets his hands on this champion.
It's just so nuts. I want to go back to the point that you were saying, right? We said so much about JDG's composition for this one. Kanavi on the Taliyah, maybe not the greatest thing that we were looking for. The setup necessarily wasn't there, but the execution, the mechanics from them are just too good to deal with, man. Like their map rotations, getting the dragons that early and setting themselves up for that one. Yes, losing the Elder Dragon, but having the plan in mind that they can still execute, they can still go for the game-winning play, even with it. And something, it's a little extra point there, but I love the smiles coming out from JDG, because yes, this game feels good, right? You're able to take a win in a way that maybe wasn't necessarily traditional, but this is setting you up for success looking in the future. This is building that confidence as we only have 1 week left.
Yeah, that's what they need, right? When you go into playoffs, I can speak from experience that going into like the postseason on team side, it is a lot about your confidence, your mentality, how you feel about, you know, how you stack up against the enemy team, so you don't like zone yourself out. So despite the fact that this was the expected result, you know, 2-0 for JDG. I still think it's good to get under their belt. You know, no one's playing spoiler here today, and now it just sets up well for how JDG keep playing going forward, because now we have this dynamic of like, okay, we have this stability in the bot lane. We have Yagao, who's going to keep going back to comfort, and then we have Zoom, who's going to pick all these counter picks and kind of be the flexible one on the map. And it feels like that gives a very good identity and a very good like way that you have a foundation, but you are still flexible at the same time.
And I feel like being that flexible, having some of those tools coming out in the later parts, getting ready for the playoffs, right, is really good. We do get to see the Taliyah for the first time, I believe, of the season for Kanavi. So
please,
giving something
the last
else
time, Mazel, please.
No, I don't know what you're talking about, right? They won the game. No, but it gives that extra little something to think about when you're going up against JDG, right? You have to add that extra champion to the pool. And, you know, JDG looking forward, going to be facing OMG on Tuesday. And that's just even more of a confidence builder if they can continue this kind of performance into that game, into that series, and into the playoffs.
I agree. And, you know, now they are sitting on 11 wins. So they're actually tied right now, you know, with the likes of W and EDG. Sure, they do have one more loss, but still sitting in that 11 win column. If they could build their way up towards, you know, a third, fourth spot, that is once again getting themselves better seeding going into playoffs. And that's what it's all about at this point. Despite the fact that I think there could be arguments made both ways, right? Where, you know, if you get to play more series, it's like more of a warm-up. There's more like time to acclimate to either like a meta that can develop within playoffs or other things. But I'd still say it'd be much better to play as few series as you need to before having to face the likes of an EDG, an RNG, a top esports.
Yeah, you definitely want to be careful going into those kinds of matchups, and especially with some of the craziness we saw. Like, if you're up against one of those teams in this situation, I don't feel like you have those advantages that you gain.
No, definitely not. But still, a lot of things hold true. But Mazel, who do you think is the MVP of this game?
Oh, that's so hard. Like, just for giving the Taliyah, I'm like, I want to say Kanavi with the I just to make you mad. But no, it is gonna be Yagao that gets it actually. Yep. And great performance off the Zoe means a lot, right? You're getting this comfort champion, getting your most played in the season, and you're performing on top of it. It's just great to see that. That damage per gold is a little insane, buddy.
I can't remember if it was the second Drake or the third, but there was just that one Drake where he hits bubble on Peace, so they can't go in.
Yeah.
He hits another bubble on Peace, so they still can't go in. He then hits a paddle star on Peace, so it's like, oh my god, there's no fight even happening. He's just denying LGD even a chance to posture for a fight. So he was just doing a ton of work in this game and in this series overall.
Yeah, and you just see some of the follow-up here. Yagao try to make his best faker impression here, getting all those summoner spells, trying to get all the damage down as well. And I think Yagao does just fine for himself on the Zoe, feeling really good, flashing away from the stun, being able to secure that kill on the Quay and make sure that he's not able to get a trade back. And then the fights, potential, how they break down in the later parts are just all Yagao. And this is that last play. This is the full commit from JDG where they just take the game.
And again, it was smart. It was cheeky. And I feel like that's also something about top teams in LPL that sets you apart is when you're not only like smart and like a telegraph, this is how the game should be played way, you also are creative. You know, that's what sets apart, I'd say, like